welcome back to another episode of the Blacklist Podcast. Today, we have the honor of featuring Jonny Weirich, the dynamic owner and co-founder of the impactful nonprofit Chicago Hope Dealers. This organization has made its mission to bring hope and recovery into the limelight, not only by facilitating speaking engagements across the United States, but also by providing vital resources for detox, treatment, and recovery homes. Remarkably achieving over 400 treatment admissions monthly and serving as a certified Narcan trainers, they ensure that this crucial overdose reversal drug is accessible to those in need. Today's dialogue will take us on a deep dive into Jonny's own transformative journey from the grips of active addiction to his profound recovery. We'll explore the hurdles he overcame, the resilience he demonstrated, and the redemption he found along the way. This conversation aims to shed light on the remarkable difference Chicago Hope Dealers is making in the world and the personal motivations driving Jonny to lead such a significant charge. Prepare to be inspired by the stories of struggle, hope, and the life-changing power of recovery as Jonny Weirich shares his heart and vision with us. This episode, along with a host of other inspiring stories, can be found at theblacklistpodcast.com. Without further delay, Jonny Weirich. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. I know we were supposed to do this a while back, and then you had your accident and whatnot, and we haven't really been able to get you back on until now. So,
life on life terms, they happen.
Dude, after some like technical issues and whatnot, it was just like, yeah, but we made it happen. I told Swag to be on tonight, but I guess he's been going through some stuff. So, okay. It's all right though.
In my head earlier, life, I'm living life on life's terms, and I'm normally happy about it, but for some reason earlier, he got me pissed off. I was like, fuck that. Like, I don't want to live life on life's terms. Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I didn't feel that way. So,
yeah, this life, it's just like in recovery too, like life throws us curveballs and whatnot, and I was just talking to this about this on the last podcast that we did earlier with Josh Catlett, and it was like, we were talking about how we just got to roll with it, even in like our personal life, but then in recovery, like shit happens, and we just got to just, we have to learn how to navigate those throughout life. We just got to do it. And there ain't no sense of crying about it,
Exactly. It's like now that we're in recovery and we're clean and sober, we got life on life terms throwing punches at us nonstop. So all we can do is duck and weave and give the punches back.
Right.
And today we don't have to run from it or mask it or hide from it. We get to face it. I call it raw dogging life on life terms, man. Yeah. Exactly. So, yep.
No, exactly.
Really was sick of it earlier, and I don't even know why. But I haven't even thought of that saying in a while, so it's funny that you said that again. Like, I heard it from myself and from somebody else today, so there's a reason.
Yep. Yeah, that's for sure.
There's a reason for that advice today.
Yeah. And I apologize ahead of time if anybody hears little people talking. We got the kids upstairs that are, being up there, so being good. Kids. So, yeah, man, I think we got linked up through our co-host Swag, and he was telling me, he's like, man, you really got to get Jonny on. I got to link up with Chicago Hope Dealers, and so, reached out to you on Facebook, and we talked ever since, and so, it's cool, man. I've been able to meet a lot of people through doing this podcast, and being able to meet a lot of other advocates and creators and influencers and musicians, and it's just everybody doing the same thing, which is trying to spread that hope and that positivity and that awareness to let everybody know, that there is hope after addiction. There is a brighter day at the end of the day. Like, it's not always going to be dark, rainy clouds.
Exactly. And especially nowadays. So 20 years ago, we didn't have all this crazy fentanyl and car fentanyl and everything that's out there right now. Today's kids, today's generation don't even have a chance. They take one pill that was made off the street, or get some kind of, I've seen around here in the Chicagoland area, weeds being laced with fentanyl. And I
Yep.
know people that have died from just smoking weed. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy. So like the more awareness that we can spread, the more that we can make recovery appealing, the better. So, we just got to keep carrying this message. And I mean, today, the way of the life that we live today in recovery is simply amazing. I mean, of course, life on life terms do show up, but that's okay. I mean, it's not as bad. I mean, what's the saying go? It's saying is, my my best day using doesn't even compare to my worst day in recovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
My worst day in recovery is still a great day because I didn't use and I don't have to get
Mm-hmm.
stuck in that insanity and the vicious cycle of using over and over again and doing stuff over and over again, expecting different results. So,
Exactly. Yep. I mean, it's just like, we're just real people trying to make it through life, and just because, you're representing, Chicago Hope Dealers, and we're
mhm.
representing the Blacklist podcast, like, we're real people. Like, I'll be honest, like, I
Yeah.
pissed Brianna, well, Brianna made me mad earlier, and then I pissed her off earlier, and we went through our thing, but it's like,
Life on life's terms.
you know,
There you go.
but, at the end of the day, like, people, we learn to navigate those situations through,
Mhm.
and doing it sober at the end of the day as well. Because I know
Yep.
in the past, I tell you this, in the past, if somebody pissed me off or got into a fight with my significant other, up, well, gives me a reason to go use right away.
Yep.
I was gonna say too,
Exactly.
I would have it would have been a screaming match, even though it was the silliest thing.
It was.
We both were able to just walk away from each other and just calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
have a
Yeah.
screaming match, and then I would have left and got drunk. I came home
Yep.
drunk. I didn't. I went and got some quarters for laundry, and I came home and I just
And I went outside and played baseball with the kids. So,
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
yeah.
Yeah, I look at that too, and then I mean, I'm not perfect by any means either, and I'm still, even though I mean I got some time clean and in recovery, I mean I still mess up too. I'm only human, right? And so
Mm,
I'll delve in a little bit later about some stuff that we're going through here at my house.
mm,
We're going through some health issues and some stuff like that. That's in the long term, it's really stressful, but but it's also bringing us together closely. We're able to navigate through it and to be able to like build on this as bettering our relationship. So I mean, like, and that's what this is about. Like in recovery, it's about changing our old patterns and becoming a grown adult and working through this stuff and creating new patterns that are healthy. So.
mm-hmm.
so
Absolutely.
talking to somebody yesterday, about like identifying where those patterns come from, and
Mhm.
we're talking about mirroring and personality and how all of that develops and how it affects you in adulthood. So what was your childhood like? What your
So
lips?
basically, so basically, my childhood was crazy. I can just say that. I was with my mother until I was about 1 years old, and then my mother came down with paranoia schizophrenia, which is it's genetic in our family. Um, and my mother got locked up in the state mental institute here in Illinois when I was about one. Um, I got pushed right into the ward of a state by the time I was 2 years old. Um, and so I was a ward of a state, and I went through I mean, between the ages of two until I was 11 years old, I went through probably like 30 foster homes.
Really.
Skipped around a lot, like never felt like I belonged anywhere. Felt abandoned. I had a lot of abandonment issues, and when I went through my first round of steps in recovery, I uncovered a lot of that, and I had to work through that. I remember though, as far as like addiction goes, I truly believe I was born with addiction. It's heredity in the family. Like, so my father's an addict. My grandfather was an addict. My great grandfather on my dad's side, my great grandfather is an addict, and then my great great grandfather was an addict, alcoholic. So, long line of addicts, and my son is too. I have a 23-year-old son that is almost 23-year-old son that is also an addict as well. So I mean, like it's generational. I truly now that I'm in recovery, I look back at that because I remember some of my earliest memories of being a kid. Like I was 6 years old. I was at one of the foster parents, and I stole the bottle of Flintstone vitamins, and I ate the whole entire bottle, and I ended up overdosing on the vitamins and throwing up in the backyard the whole entire night. And the foster parents found out that I did that, and a day later they went and got another bottle and tried to hide it, and I sought it out, stole it again, and did it again like 2 days later. So I mean, like the obsession, the compulsion, the I want more, like all of that was there at a very young age, and I haven't even touched substances yet, right?
Damn, it started with Flintstone vitamins.
It did, isn't that crazy?
I've heard that one.
I mean, I really never knew that you could like overdose on like especially like the Flintstone vitamins, you know, because you think they're for kids.
Yeah,
you can overdose
you
on
can
it.
literally. Yeah, you can literally overdose. You can overdose on water.
You can. I was just about to say,
and drown yourself.
You can drown yourself with water. It's crazy the things that you can overdose on. So what would you say the first what age did you touch your first substance at?
Probably about 10 years old.
Those Flintstone gummies.
Oh, I'm talking about actual.
They weren't
substance.
even gummies. They didn't even have gummies then.
The gooey ones, right? Like the chalk ones.
Yeah, the chalk ones. Yeah, those were the ones. But no, I was about 10 years old. I tried weed for the first time, and I really liked it. And started. I had my first drink around 10 or 11 years old. By the time I was 12 years old, I was emancipated from the state. So I had to prove to the state that I could emancipate myself from the actual state. So, and I did. I worked for my family for a little while, and my family had a business. So, like, I kind of used that as like, hey, I can work for these guys and go to school. And that's what I did. But like, I never liked any kind of authority. I didn't like being told what to do. I didn't like going to school. I didn't like teachers. I didn't like the police. I was kind of like on my own agenda. Again, always feeling like I was on my own, which I was for a while, right? I ended up at a young age moving out to the city, from the suburbs to the city in Chicago, and I was with my older cousin. So like, I kind of like use that as like, hey, this is my chance to kind of get away from my area, and also be able to like look up to my older cousin. And he was already like heavily involved in like the drug scene, the gang banging scene, all of that stuff. And, I kind of like portrayed that because like I looked up to him. That didn't last too long because he ended up catching a case and going to prison. And when that happened, then I was on my own. So the next thing I looked for was being a part of. So I ended up meeting up with some of those gang members that I was hanging out with, and ended up joining with them. And that's when that started that.
Really? And it was more of what? It was just probably just to get that sense of validation, and you just wanted to be what, loved and cared for and whatnot, which I think by a lot of people when they do that shit, they it's because they're out there looking for something that they never had as a child. And and of course being, through different homes and whatnot, like that really it messes with you.
Yeah, definitely.
It almost makes you feel like you're like, why, like if you're not worth it or something.
Exactly. And I felt that way for a very long time, right? I wanted to be a part of. I wanted that camaraderie. I wanted that brotherhood. I wanted all of that. And so after I was out there, I mean, basically, I mean, there's a lot of the stuff that I look back on. It's just insane that what we went through, because like while I was out there running with the gangs and doing what I was doing. Um, we ended up getting involved with the underground rave scene. It was really big back in the 90s in Chicago. We did a lot of different stuff like that. We went to festivals, and that was a lot of my life, majority of my life. I mean, still today, even in recovery, I'll go to some of these festivals. I'll go, but with a different purpose. I go there for the music. I go there for the environment, and I also go there to carry a message today. I actually bring Narcan. I do Narcan training at these festivals. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, bring Narcan.
Yep, I always do, and then I pass it out. But no, man, that the whole rave scene was crazy. Like, um, I mean, we went from state to state. We went on journeys. I mean, I remember this. Here, I got a story. So, like, one of my vivid stories, I think I was like, I don't know, I would say 17, 18 at the time, 17, almost 18 years old. And we were driving up to Wisconsin to a festival, and it's called Further Fest up there. And we were on our way up there, and we had a carload of people, and I was driving. Um, I I had a vial of liquid acid in my sock. Had like 130 hits of liquid acid in a plastic vial, and it was in my sock. And we pulled over at a rest area, and while we were at the rest area, I was like, "Why is my sock wet?" And I went to take off my shirt, and I found out the whole vial emptied out into my sock. 120 hits of liquid acid. The next thing you know, I'm peeling it off my foot, and it's like soaked, and the vial's gone, and everyone's like, "Let me see that sock," and they're like straining it out in their mouth and like sucking on the sock and doing whatever they can. But like the next thing you know, I couldn't drive because I started I started tripping balls.
Yes, it soaked into
Soaked
your
into my
bloodstream.
skin. Yeah, yeah. And
Wow.
actually because it was such a high dose, like I think I tripped for over a month straight. I mean, I'm talking like every single day, like melting, everything melting all over the place. I uh I ended up I would go to sleep and wake up still be tripping. I tried everything to get the tripping to stop, and at one point after like 3 weeks, I thought I was stuck like that. I thought this is the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life.
Mm.
I'm going to have to go check myself into the mental institute. Um, I used to visit my mom a lot at the Illinois State Mental Institute. It's in Elgin, Illinois, and I thought that's where I was going to end up for the rest of my life because of that. Unfortunately, in 2001, my mom passed away with schizophrenia. It was really bad, and she had a brain aneurysm, and but I mean, I used to visit her all the time. But for a while there, I was like, man, I'm gonna end up going up there, probably seeing the same doctors that are up there, all this other stuff, and but eventually, after about almost a month, it kind of wore off. But it did stick with me for like a month or two after that, and to this day, like I'll get little hints of it and stuff. So, I
Mm.
mean, it scarred me pretty good. So,
Geez, you're lucky too, like that you didn't like overdose or some. I don't know. Like I've never done acid, so and I've always been too scared because of the trip. You know,
yeah,
you're on mute, Brianna. By the way, Brianna,
you're
you're
on
on
mute,
you're on
Brianna.
mute.
Yep.
What were you saying?
Because I'm chomping on stuff over here. I said I don't think you can overdose. Like he just tripped for over a month.
Well, I know, but I'm just
Mhm.
saying, like, I don't know anything about that. Like, I've never done that, so I couldn't even tell you, like, can you overdose on acid? Can you not? Like, I don't know.
I think if I was to, that would have been the time to do that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have took a lot of acid and never came back, and
Mm.
they're just stuck like that for the rest of their life. So that's like all that what kept replaying in my mind, which
Yeah.
made it even worse for me, right? Because I'm like psyching myself out. Um, but no, thank God that didn't happen. It was just an experience, and man, I wouldn't wish that on anybody because like. I mean, let alone 24, 48 hours is long enough, but when going for a whole entire month, I mean, I'm talking like everything was ruined. Like I couldn't even like function
Mm.
normally without, seeing stuff, having that body buzz of it, everything. It was just like if you can like picture the desk in front of you or the table in front of you, watching it just like wax melting into the floor. That's like everything around you nonstop. So like, and then like tons of patterns. Everywhere you look is patterns, like walls and everything else. So it's like, um, definitely an experience. Yeah, I'm glad it's over with.
Mm.
So
I'm sure. I'm sure. Like, yeah, that would give me mad anxiety. Like, I couldn't just to know that like I wouldn't be able to shake a trip for like a month. Like, mm-mm.
yeah. So basically, like as far as like delving into like, I basically used and abused drugs for about 26 years of my life. That was my active addiction run. I'm now 44. September I'll be 45. I ended up spending about 12 years in prison. Three different bits, including county times and stuff. It was about 12 years altogether. Even when I went to prison or county, I always had access or drugs were available to be able to use. Um, and it really wasn't like too hard to get any of it too, considering I was hooked up with the gang that I was with. I'm not going to divulge what kind of gang I was with. I actually got blessed out when I was 35 years old. So, but I mean, a lot of ripping and running with them.
Yeah, a lot of people think
Uh,
you go to prison like, oh, they're in prison, they can't use. I'm like, you fucking you get all kinds
they're
of shit.
red.
I've never been personally, but every single person that I know that has been there, they're like, dude, you can get anything you want in prison.
Yeah, you can.
And
Yep.
some.
Yep. Yeah. It depends on who you know. Definitely.
So, what was like? Okay, so the very first time that you were ever sentenced, what was running through your mind? Like, were you scared? Were you not? Were you just read? You know, like what were you thinking?
It was like the first time. I mean, of course, man, I had a lot of anxiety about it, but at the same time, like I knew what I did, and that I needed to pay for the consequences of my actions.
Yeah.
Um, where I come from, snitches get stitches, end up in ditches. We don't do any of that. That was and still today, that still reigns true for me today. But it's almost like, you know, it's weird because back then it was like that, but now like I got sponsees that are in recovery homes and stuff like that, and like if somebody's using in there, I'm like, dude, you need to tell on those people that are using because you're gonna like end up, getting a bunch of other guys high and overdosing in the actual recovery home. Like it's a whole different story because you come into recovery and we got this mantra, like we can't snitch on anybody. You got to still like keep it 100 and do the whole entire thing, but at the same time, like now that you're risking other people's lives, it's a whole different thing. um but still, like when I first went in, uh I kind of had a like I don't give a fuck attitude. Like
Hmm.
fuck it, let's do this, let's get it over with. um the second bit was a little different. Like I was like, man, this sucks, dude. I don't want to go back to prison. I was already there. Like this sucks. And the third time, like I was like, man, I got to go do this, but I got to figure out something different. Like how can I change this? I just can't. This revolving door of constantly in and out, in and out. I stayed on paper. I was either on probation, parole, or prison or jail for probably 20 years of the 26 years I used, right?
Hmm.
Um, this
Yeah.
last time, though, this last time in prison, that's what broke me. Um, and actually, it didn't break me all the way. It got me to the point to like starting to wake up, like why do I keep doing this stuff? Like I need to do something different. And then you always get this thing while you're in prison, like, hey, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna be a better guy when I get out. I'm tired of disappointing my family, um, and all of that. But like as soon as you get out, it's a whole nother story, right? Um, this last prison stint I did was in Shawnee, um, and it's a medium max penitentiary where you're locked down 21 hours a day and you're out for 3 hours a day every single day. Basically, your TV in your cell is your best friend.
Mm.
Um, you just do your time in there. And this last time I got out, I had the mindset of like, hey, I'm going to do something different. But by the time I got out, I got back, I got off the bus. I actually went to a meeting, um, but after that meeting, I went and got high.
Mm.
I ended up catching a few more cases, so I got multiple felonies on my background, and this time I caught like four more felonies. So I go back to jail. I'm on probation. I'm on parole. I'm sitting in jail. I'm waiting for my parole officer to come to the pod. He shows up at the pod. I'm ready to go because he's going to give me a parole violation and send me back to prison to finish off my parole time. And he tells me, "I'm not here for you right now." I'm like, "Okay." And I truly think that was a God moment, right?
Mm.
I truly think that God was working in my life then. And he's always worked in my life. I just couldn't see it because I was so numb and cloudy from all the use and abusing drugs and everything. And so then, like the next month, he came to the jail and he was like, "I'm not here for you, but I'm going to take these other two guys." And he would leave with two of the guys, and I would be like, "Okay, I'm here for another month." And he did that for like 8 months. And I went in front of the judge a few times, and the prosecutor's like, "This guy isn't learning. He's already been down 3 times. Like, he's still messing up. Like, he doesn't qualify for probation. He won't qualify for the drug program. He can't qualify for task." So I went in front of the judge, and the judge says, "What do you have to say for yourself after 8 months of being in there?" And I was like, "Let's take it to trial. What do I got to lose?"
Mm.
Um, And the judge said, "No, we're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a last chance program. This is it. This is the last chance that we can do anything for you." I go, "We're going to let you out. We're going to send you straight to treatment here from county jail. This will be the second time that I've been to treatment. I went to treatment one other time. Really went through the motions, didn't pay attention, really didn't care. Uh, got out, did the half-ass recovery, you know, not working steps. I got a sponsor, but I didn't work steps with my sponsor. I showed up to meetings late. I left early. I played on my phone. I chased women. I did all that stuff in my first stint in recovery. About 18 months, I made it 18 months, and then I started using. But this time around, with that judge. He was like, "Hey, I'm going to give you a last chance program." But like, he's like, "Check this out." He's like, "The last two people we gave the last chance program to, we uh, they both died. They went out and never came back because they both died. They went back and used drugs." So
Jeez.
I went to that treatment center. I got shipped from that treatment center on parole and probation. Um, he told me I had to follow all stipulations. If I didn't complete all my programs and do everything and follow all their suggestions that they wanted me to do, that I'd be locked back up again. So this was my shot, right? I yeah, I ended up just, really paying attention in treatment, right? Like trying to like learn some stuff about, because the drugs and alcohol are just a symptom of the disease of addiction. The real disease is in our thinking. We have a thinking disease, so we have to think
Mm-hmm.
differently. So to be able to like, we were talking about patterns earlier. Like we got to change the patterns. We got to be able to think differently. We got to be able to do stuff differently. We got to be able to process our traumas, the pain of our past, stuff like that. So that's what I started to do. I know that my whole family turned on me by then. Like they all didn't want to have anything to do with me. They were tired of me fucking up all the time. I was cut off completely. So I was getting to the end of my stay in treatment, and they were like, "You got to find a recovery home." Every recovery home I called wanted some money to go into the recovery home. And I couldn't find money for anything. I went to this treatment center with the clothes on my back. I didn't even have extra clothes or anything like that. I was trying to reach out to like family. Nobody would talk to me. I talked to my sister for a little bit. Um, I was able to talk to my dad. They couldn't help me too much. I kept trying to get a hold of my aunt. It was getting down to the wire. So basically, the judge and the prosecutor are like, "Hey, like if you can't find a recovery home, if you can't move in, you got to come back to jail. We're going to send you to prison. You'd violate." So I just kept trying to reach out to my family, and finally, 2 days before I was getting ready to be released from treatment, my aunt showed up with 2 weeks worth of rent for a recovery home. I ended up paying that 2 weeks, moved out to the north side of Chicago, and started my journey at that recovery home. And I believe like that last stint right there in county after I did all that prison time and everything like that, that was my breaking point.
Yeah.
That was like the the straw that broke the camel's back right there. Like hey, like I got to do something different or I'm gonna end up dying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fucking. It's a rough. People don't get it. Like especially with the fentanyl shit that's out there. Like you said, like even now, like we were just talking about this, that one pill can kill type deal, and it's just,
Mhm.
yeah, you go out and you do that prison time and you do that bid, and then just say you don't use, and then you just go to do one time and you're just out, and that's all that it takes, and so it's like you get to a point in your life, you get to those crossroads roads where you're like, I either kill myself or I save myself, and that's essentially that's where you are at.
I truly believe that suicide would be a better way out than a life stuck in addiction. To be spiritually broken and physically, spiritually, mentally broken, just walking around like a zombie in active addiction is way more worse of a life. I truly believe than actually just killing myself and taking me off the map,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And I, you know. So basically, how it breaks down is like, that me being in that prison or in that jail cell, like before I was getting ready to go in front of that judge, and I was getting on my knees and I was praying to a higher power or to God, which I never had a relationship with because like I always had a resentment against God. And that's my story, right? I resented God for the hand that I was dealt throughout my life, right? All this stuff that was happening. I had a big resentment against God. And so that God moment, that gift of desperation moment was right there at that jail cell. And then like once I got into that recovery home, I walked into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, and that's the program that I work today is Narcotics Anonymous. And so once I started hanging around Narcotics Anonymous and following suggestions and got a sponsor and started working steps and doing service work, that turned into that good orderly direction, that the next God moment, right?
Yeah.
That good orderly direction that like I was able to like start suiting up, showing up, and growing up in recovery. Um, and at first, like it was weird, like right, like I grew up as like a hard ass dude that like couldn't show my feelings or emotions, or you get eaten alive in the streets and in prison. Um, but like I learned while being in recovery that having feelings and emotions makes you a strong dude, and real men cry, bro. Like and that's where it's at. Um, I also learned that you know today in recovery, we gotta be able to try to be a better person than we were yesterday, and I still strive to do that. And again, I am no like perfect person. I fuck up on a daily basis. But today I actually am able to see myself mess up so that I don't have to do it again, right? When I'm wrong, I promptly admit it. I talk to my sponsor about stuff all the time, and I do a lot of different stuff. Um, but that's crazy. So, like, I went from that gift of desperation, that God, to the good orderly direction in the program, and then it turned into a God of my understanding. Like by working the steps, I found a God of my understanding, which was my higher power. It was just a power that I could call God myself. Nobody else knew this higher power. It was my personal relationship. I was able to talk to my higher power. It was like more like the birds, the blue sky outside, the wind, the sun on your face, that warm blanket feeling. that I used to get with drugs. I was getting it from just being clean and talking to my higher power. So it was like, it was a different thing, like that nice, warm, cuddly blanket that just came out of the dryer, right? Feeling. Um, and then about 3 years ago, my higher power changed to, I got baptized, man. And Jesus Christ is now my higher power. And I'm Christian. And that's just for me, right? And it works for me. Um, and since then, my spirituality has grown leaps and bounds. Like I have a great relationship with my higher power. I can also watch my higher power like show up and show out. Like, and I know that everything is provided to me no matter what. Um, Even though like I still have that addict mentality, I want that instant gratification. Like man, like bills are getting tight right now. Like yeah, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Like 7 months ago, living paycheck to paycheck. Bills are getting tight. Needed money for a bill. I was actually kind of doing my own plumbing work because that's what I do. I'm a plumber, and like all of a sudden, like I would have almost zero money in the account, and like a bill was coming up, and then my phone would ring, and I'd be like, "Oh, thank you." Like that's what's up, man. Like, um, it kind of worked out like that, but it's the better part is to being more dependent on your higher power, whatever that may be, to be able to like get that into your life, to be able to depend on that higher power, turn that stuff over to the higher power. Because like if I carry everything that I'm going through on my shoulders all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'd be batshit crazy, like literally.
Brianna.
I'd be batshit crazy too.
Yeah.
I can absolutely understand like the power like somebody else's words have at the right moment. You
Hmm.
know, a year and a half into my recovery, I got a DWI
Hmm.
with my kids in the car, and what I blew was astronomical.
Mm.
But the things that I learned from then, I'm not a religious person, but there was a higher power. I
Hmm.
did not of my kids. I just have extra accountability. I did everything in the timely manner. But it's also like the judge said pretty much the same thing to me. You fuck up, like follow this, and if you fuck up, like you're fucked.
Hmm.
And it really had things click in my head, and I was, same thing. Like I need to start doing this the right way.
Yeah.
And it was just from a total stranger, just at the right moment.
That if that's not a God moment, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you could have lost a lot, especially with your kids.
Yeah. And I should have. I blew a .28. I should have lost my kids.
Whew.
Like I should have lost my kid. And I was just God shaking me and being like, "Wake the fuck up," and it helped. So I get it.
Oh, definitely.
I think we've all had those God moments, or however you want to think about it, like mine was being able to survive, all the fentanyl use that I was using, like on a daily basis, and then being able to escape certain situations that I was in when I was in active addiction. I had to be a part of things I didn't want to be a part of, but it was because I was running with a certain group. I'm not going to name names or anything as well, but it's just like, I don't know. Every time now I look back and I see it back then as like that was my higher power watching out for me. Like that was giving me a second chance. I'll tell you this, by the grace of God, I've never been arrested. I've never had a
Whew.
charge. I've never had anything. And
You brag
how?
about it all the time.
What?
I said you brag about it all the time.
No, no, no. But I brag about it because I know the things that I've done, and I should 100%. I should be serving 100%. A lot of and so for me, like that's my God moment. Like the fact that I'm able to be here and be a free man and be able to talk. Again, I don't. That's just me personally. Like that's just my personal life, and that. But I don't know how. I never. got caught up, but I never did, thank God.
Yeah, I can relate to that. But I mean, the stuff that I was doing, I should have been locked up for 200 plus years, man. And I'm just like,
Now,
and the
so
stuff that, yeah.
sorry, I have a question. So when Jared's saying that, and you getting in trouble,
Hmm.
doing those, 3 bids and being on papers and everything like that, do you almost wish that you didn't get caught for anything?
Well, I always go back to my probation officer, the officer that arrested me this last time, the judge, and I check in with them every year, and I thank them, and I'm grateful for them. I would never have done that in active addiction, right? Because it's what was my breaking point. This was the culmination of my recovery, right? This is what brought me to recovery. Um, so so I'm just going to break it down real quick. It was basically like 26 years of active addiction. I did 12 years in prison, still using. And during my active addiction, I was shot 4 times. I was stabbed 3 times. I overdosed and died twice in that 26 years. Saved by Narcan. Thank God for Narcan. And by the grace of God, today I have 8 years, 3 months, and 25 days clean. Um, and
Awesome.
like, and my message is like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. If a dope fiend, ex gangbanger, multi felon person like myself can do it, anybody can do it. So,
Now,
and
now
my
to back
dogs are,
up, no, you're good. You're good. To back up
yeah.
Brianna's question though is, if you had to go back and change all of that, would you, or would you still, because everything we've done, it's made us who we are today. Obviously,
Mhm.
some things are more greater than others, and some things that we wish that we wouldn't have done. But knowing your life, if you could get a do over,
Mhm.
I mean, I know that's a hard question, and some people they're like, absolutely, I would do it, and then others are like, no, I wouldn't. But just would you go back and live your life over again, knowing
No,
it
I would
made you the
not.
person you are today?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I wouldn't do it because everything that I've been through, the ups, the downs, everything that I've ever gone through has made me the person I am today. And I can honestly say today that I love the person that I
There you go.
am
And
today.
We
then,
we were on a live the other day, and this person was commenting because I had talked about somebody that passed away, and he was
Yep.
like, "Oh, I'm happy for him because he's not stuck here anymore." And I was like, "No, like I don't feel like I'm stuck here on Earth. Like I'm happy to be here. I
Hmm.
don't feel stuck. I'm for once in my life, I am okay. I'm good. I'm great. It's. I'd hate to feel that way.
Yeah, exactly. And like, we're all blessed with this life, man. And it comes down to too is like, what are you doing to make your life good?
Hmm.
I mean, if you're not doing stuff to make your life good, then what's the point? Like, I know that me personally, like helping people every single day, no matter what it is, like gives me purpose today in recovery and in my life. I'm able to like, even if it's like, not even talking like monetary, I'm talking like a simple gesture to be able to sit down and like talk to somebody about if they're struggling and to be able to like or even in like a passing like conversation or being around somebody and then just smiling um is is better than anything that can make somebody's day. That's what I look at. So I truly believe we were all put on this earth to help somebody or to help people in general. So
yeah,
and
I
uh
uh,
and
I always tell people you got to find your why. What's your
yeah.
why in this life? Yeah, and that's something I'm like really really big on. Like we weren't just born to just live, breathe, and die. That at
Hmm.
least that's my opinion. There's something greater to this, and we all have a why in this life. It's just what is it, and that's up to us to find what that is. I think even when you do say you do, if you're at a point in your life where you know what your why is, it's still gonna be a lifetime of searching for it. But it's
Oh
still
yeah.
like, what is your why? And that's one biggest thing. I try to tell people to change their perspective on, instead of just living, breathing, and dying. Okay, what's your why? why do you think that you are put here on this earth? And run with it.
Exactly.
Now,
I
Johnny, you of like doing good today kind of goes with what Jared just said. Like, what good are you doing? I'm not saying that you're not, but like, do you want to tell
Yeah. How did
so
Chicago Hope Dealers start and all that?
what you're
sh-
involved with?
sh-
You are doing that good every
yeah, Chicago Hope Dealers started out as a hashtag on Facebook. How crazy is that? And that was like 6 years ago. Um, started off as a hashtag, turned into a recovery group, a private recovery group on Facebook, which we still have right now. It's just Chicago Hope Dealers. Um, and then from there, we started a page. We did lives for a while. Now our life is really busy, so it's hard to do lives. And then we started a grassroots organization. Everybody's like, you should start a nonprofit, and I'm like, do you know how hard? Do you know how much work a nonprofit takes? I mean, like, it's a lot of work, and I'm not against it by any means, but I'm at a place in my life right now where I'm working on my career, and I got a family, and I got like a ton of sponsees, and I'm heavily into Narcotics Anonymous. I'm also a member of ARM, which is Association of Recovering Motorcyclists. So I mean, I got a lot of irons in the fire when it comes to recovery. But Chicago Hope Dealers has now become like a household name, not only in the Chicagoland area but all over the country. And we worked really hard to do that. Um, we We've been going to events and speaking at events across the country for the last 6 years straight. Um, every year we have about 12 to 15 events that we speak at, and then we bring Narcan and we sell merchandise, and we uh, we try to help as many people as we possibly can. Um, I mean, right now, between my messenger and my phone and like my Instagram and everything else, we get about 4 to 500 people a month that reach out and they want to go to treatment. And like anybody can get into treatment, right? If you have the right insurance and stuff like that. We basically 98% of everybody that we put into treatment have no insurance, bottom of the barrel Medicaid. They can't find resources. Nobody will talk to them because they don't have insurance. Like they don't have money. So I've spent the last 6 years vetting and networking with free treatment centers, referral programs, scholarship programs, and stuff all over the country, including Canada. I got some admins that are in Canada as well. They got resources up there, and of course, they all have free treatment up there because health care is free up there. But there's waiting lists and all kinds of
Yeah,
stuff that
it
go with
takes
that
like
as well.
8 months to a year to even get in to see a doctor.
It does, and you got to get put on a list, dude, which is
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what we've been doing. And then along the way, I mean, I have 14 sponsees right now that I walk through the steps. I talk to them on an everyday basis. My phone's nonstop ringing. I have to have it on silent and do not disturb right now because I'm watching my messages going crazy, and I'm watching my messenger go crazy. And then I've gotten like 4 phone calls since we've been on this, but I mean, I will return those phone calls. Um, but no, dude, like that's what we do. Oh yeah, and Tuesday, Jared, you're asking for some Narcan. I will be
Yeah.
shipping some Narcan out to you on Tuesday. So,
Okay.
yep,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, and I go to rave parties and I set up. So this is what I do. So I've been in recovery long enough that I've lost the desire to use. I do not recommend this to anybody that's just new in recovery or who can't be around drugs and alcohol in recovery. I mean, there's some people that just can't be around drugs and alcohol. Me, it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't want to use. Like, anything can be in front of me. It's my choice today to use. And if I feel like I'm being triggered or anything like that, I'll get away from that situation. But like, I go to raves, I test drugs for fentanyl, I watch people use in front of me, I pass out recovery resources, I do Narcan training, we do all kinds of stuff at festivals and raves, and it doesn't bother me. I brought some people with me that are in recovery that had to leave, and
Yeah.
that's okay. I mean, like that's on them.
It's not for
Um,
everybody.
no, it isn't for everybody, but
Right.
at the same token, I've gotten a lot of phone calls too from people that are in the rave scene that met me in the rave and thought that their use was getting out of hand and they wanted some help, and now they're all clean. I mean, like, which is a beautiful thing. Um, I That's another good thing too, is like being able to like I do a lot of H&I work, which is hospitals and institutions, where I go into treatment centers and detoxes and I share a message of hope. And then like I kind of explain to them, like, and give them suggestions on what they should do next, right? And then like a year or two later, I'll bump into them at a convention and they'll be like, "What's up, Johnny? You remember me, man? I met you at this detox. And like, check this out, man. I got a wife now. I got a kid now. I got my a career now. I just bought my house. I'm doing this. I'm doing that, and they're living a great life. And there's nothing better to see than that, man."
Yeah. I know you were gonna say something, Brianna. Or did you forget?
I'm listening to my daughter beat the shit out of my son upstairs.
Yeah.
All day, Johnny. Me and Jared just.
How old are they?
10 and 7. He's about to be 8.
Nice.
The girl.
Nice.
Yeah, they literally sat out earlier, and they've been fighting all day, and he'll mess with her, and then she'll just start beating the shit out of him.
And he wants her to. He laughs when she does it.
Yeah.
Enjoy them now while they're this age, because by the time they hit that 14, 15, 16 mark, they're going to be like, "I don't want to be around the house. I don't want to have anything to do with mom and dad," and da 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 da, and the whole entire thing. So
13-year-old too, and then he has an 8-year-old, an 11 or 9-year-old.
Kaylee's 9, Jacob is 11, and Josh is 13.
Okay.
And Josh is that 13. That kid is, already like, yeah, he just is in his own world. He's in his own lane,
Yep.
Like you said, like my first counselor ever, I met with her, when I was in the fucking bottom, and she hasn't been my counselor in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But she still checks on me, and I still have to check on her. Hey, how you doing? Because she helped. And it's like almost the same thing as people coming up to you, and being like, look what you did.
Yeah. Yeah, but what it comes down to, they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for saying all that stuff, and thanks for helping me and everything." I'm like, "Hey, check this out. All I did was plant the seed.
Yep.
You did the work. Like, you did the work. Like, you're the one that went out there and followed some suggestions, man. Like that, and that's all I did too." So Myra is go ahead.
You made an impact on them. That's basically what I was telling you. Like, she made an impact on me, so I get it. Like you
Definitely.
It's a lot.
Myra is my better half. She is also in recovery as well. She's the co-owner. I'm the co-owner. She's a co-owner. We're both the founders of Chicago Hope Dealers. When we started it, and we've still been doing this. So she handles all the women. I handle all the men. If women come into my inbox and stuff like that, I send them to Myra. She's got all the same resources as I do. We currently now have 14 admins that help us, which we need. Because to keep up with like the social media, the messages, the merchandise orders. We sell merchandise, so like hoodies like this, hats like this. We sell stuff like this. That's fine. I got some. All proceeds, so 100% of our proceeds go to scholarshiping people in recovery homes.
Awesome.
This last year, we scholarshiped 325 people into recovery homes just from our merchandise.
That's
so
awesome.
I remember what it was like not to have money trying to get into a recovery home, and there's so many people out there that need that chance. And they go to a recovery home instead of go back to their house and keep on go back to their people, places, and things, and then they're back using again. They need that chance. So that's what we do. But Myra, she is my rock. She is my fiance. We're going to be getting married sometime, probably in the next year or two. She also has been having a lot of health issues lately. So she's 40 years old. She has some kidney issues going on. She got to the point to where there was kidney failure. I'm currently started with a new company like 3 months ago. I'm a lead journeyman plumber for that company. I I'm crushing it in the company. I'm doing really, really good. She ended up walking away from the job that she was working for because she couldn't perform the tasks anymore. And then she's been in and out of the hospital and specialist for like the last almost 3.5 months now, and it's been a really scary deal to be able, I would have to go to work all day, come home, grab some stuff for her, feed the dogs. We got two awesome dogs. Then I would run to the hospital, bring her some stuff, bring her some food, hang out with her for a little while, go back home, go to bed, get up, do it all over again, and it was just chaotic for a long time. She's now home. But she's still like on the mend from recovering. We don't realize how much damage we've done to our bodies in active addiction,
Right.
and that stuff does catch up to you.
Mhm.
And there's just prime example. It
Yeah.
caught up to her, right? She still has almost 7 years clean, but like she's still like she's dealing with it.
What did you say, Brianna? You were talking, but it didn't come through.
Mila
Again.
or Myra? What was your girlfriend?
Yeah, yeah, Myra.
Does she need like a transplant or anything like that, or is she like good?
I think she's like she was in stage 2 kidney failure. Now she's in stage 1, and she's at almost going into remission, and that's where it's at right now. But then they found out she's got some back issues too. There's some stuff that's going on, like, and it's again life on life terms. We got to deal with it, and they're all trying to pump her full of all these like hardcore narcotics, and she doesn't want to do that. She wants like, okay, so you want to give me like oxycodone or you want to give me Norcos, but like, is there anything like non-narcotic that
Right.
I can take that would still ease the pain and help me better so I don't like develop a dope habit over it? And so like she's been really good with that stuff. And I totally give her props because like if I was in her position, I'd be like, give me it all, right?
Right.
And for me, like I've been in like a motorcycle accident a couple years ago, and they did prescribe some narcotics to me. And she was my rock during that time. Like, dude, she would like totally like in the morning, I'd wake up, she'd be like, here's your one, and then she would hide one in the house and take the script with her to work. And then like 6 hours later, she would call me because it's every 4 to 6 hours, and she would be like, baby, what's your pain level like? 1 to 10. And then she'd be like, go into the cupboard behind the cookie jar, and it's right there. And then that would be like where it's at. And then like so she would dole them out to me, which I totally appreciated, right? Um,
Yeah.
good way to keep us accountable. So
I I kind of
and
wish I wish I would have had that. So like last year,
mhm,
I was in a motorcycle accident and I broke my knee and I had to have surgery and got a plate put in. Of course, I was in Arizona. Brianna was out here in New York. And naturally, I was prescribed. I mean, it was like shit, but it's still it's a I don't know oxy or something like that. It's like 5 milligram, 325 type deal. But it was
yeah,
just like I got it or whatever, and I took it. Um, but then I ended up going and getting a refill on it. And
yeah.
I didn't tell Brianna. I wasn't transparent about it.
He
it
was by
yeah,
Were
it's
you
all
ta- were you still taking it as doctor's recommendation?
um I don't know. I don't. I don't know. I well once I went and got that the first one, yes. The first script,
Hmm.
yes. But the second, but when I just when I went back and I got the refill on it, the minute that I got a refill and I was dishonest with her and I didn't tell her, that was where I fucked up.
Yeah,
I basically I flushed the rest of them, but I did tell her about it. Well, after she found out, it
I,
did come out. It came
ah,
out in the open. I flushed it, but it was one of those things where I had to remind myself, like, here I am now. I mean, back then I was 4 years off of fentanyl, like
Yeah.
fentanyl was my DOC type deal, blah, blah, blah. And so when I got these, 5 325s, it was just more of like, I realized, whoa, all right, I'm about to go down this dark road,
Yep.
that I got to a point where, I didn't tell her, and then I said, oh, it's an antibiotic. And it was just like, what the fuck?
I knew
What the
that,
fuck?
Johnny, within 12 hours of him leaving that pharmacy, I was like, let me see those antibiotics.
Yeah, it was,
Picked up.
So it was 12 hours and you threw them away after that. Now I got a question, Jared. Do you count that as a relapse or no?
no. And the only reason why, this is just me. Okay. Again, everybody's different. And I know like
Yep.
with the NA and the AA and, everybody's views are different, but for me, no. Only reason why is because I wasn't getting them off the street. I did get them doctor prescribed, but it was literally like a short, like that short, basically that short period of time after she found out, to where I was like, boom, I threw them away. So for me, I don't
12,
consider
12 hours. So within the 12 hours, how many did you eat?
it was only a couple of them. Like I think it was
Okay.
literally like 2 of them out of that.
Okay. So still, that's like one every 4 to 6 hours. That's the normal thing. So I wouldn't consider that either.
I was still going down that road.
Yeah, because the lying, the lying, the manipulation, the everything, and the crazy part is now we're in recovery. We have a conscience today, dude. So you probably were like feeling like complete shit about it, dude.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
like, yeah,
Absolutely.
Tried to hide it, and then he was just like, you know what?
You know what?
But
Exactly.
if I would have
never seen him using, like I wasn't a part of his life during active addiction. I just
she just picked up on the intuition.
No, them women got them gut feelings, man. I'm telling you, bro.
All 2,500 miles away across the damn country.
Yep. I know, dude. Trust me, dude. I do.
But that was just, but if I would have had her or even somebody just keeping me accountable and whatnot, like it would have been a whole different deal. But it was just one of those things, like I got it from the doctor and I don't know why. I'd be honest with you, like, why did I get a refill on it? Like, and then why did I have to lie about the damn thing? Like,
I think the most important part about it was when I did, when you did become honest about it, there was no hesitation about getting rid of them. Like you didn't argue with me. You're not need these because I'm still in pain. Nothing. Like you were like, you know what? I don't know why I got it. And you know whatsoever, and you just got rid of it.
Yeah. So, but that's where we have to realize in our recovery that like we can't be complacent, but then 2, like that accountability has to be there. I don't care if you've got 5 days or if you got 5 years or if you got 25 years clean. We are human beings. And
I want to commend your girlfriend for not taking your script too. Like she was holding you accountable, but it was probably also difficult for her to have those on her and not take them.
Yeah, definitely. It was. But like her DOC is a lot different though. Hers is meth. Meth was her drug of choice. So, and alcohol and meth. Those are her drug of choice. So,
yeah.
Yep. And so with that though, it was a really good, she's actually dealing with it really good right now with the way she's working with pain management. She's like, I don't want any narcotics. I want the alternatives, stuff like that. And I totally give her props.
Yeah.
Growth.
No, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
There.
Yeah, she just came walking in like,
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up right now, anyways. But
she's doing her best. So that's
good.
So yeah. So another thing I wanted to talk about too is like so about 2.5 years ago, I was in Narcotics Anonymous. Meetings are great. You know, I love going to meetings. It was just coming out of COVID though, and like when COVID ended, it killed a lot of meetings and stuff in our area. It also disrupted the fellowship big time. I know a lot of people that relapsed and that went back out there and stuff because of they blamed it on COVID. Um, it's because like meetings weren't readily available. People really didn't like to do Zoom, stuff like that. But right around that time, I had a sponsee that was in this motorcycle association called ARM, and it's the Association of Recovery Motorcyclists. Um, I was definitely, so I used to ride back in the day in active addiction. I never really got like a motorcycle license, didn't have insurance. I just rode illegally. I did whatever I did. Yeah, that's what I did back in the day. So this time around, though, I really wanted to get a bike, and I wanted to be a part of something more than Narcotics Anonymous. So I went and started hanging out with all these bikers, and it totally was appealing to me. I mean, these guys were like no nonsense, no bullshit, like type guys that'll call you on all your shit, and they'd put a foot in your ass if you like, fucked up or you needed to see something about yourself, and that really appealed to me. So it's like a whole nother level of accountability when it comes to stuff like that. So I ended up joining with them. I ended up prospecting for about 17 months. During that time of prospecting, I got in a motorcycle accident. I almost died. Came out of that, got my bike rebuilt, and now I'm a full patch member for ARM. We do a ton of different stuff, man. We we ride motorcycles all over to a bunch of events. We raise money for different organizations. We raise money for recovery homes. We do motorcycle stuff, man, and it's awesome, dude. And it's a bunch of guys that are all in recovery. So it's kind of like NAAA and Celebrate Recovery guys all in one association, and we're all together, and the brotherhood, the camaraderie, and being a part of is what it's about. And we do like these big trips, like we'll do 3,000-mile rides on our motorcycle to go to different events all over the country and hang out together and just do stuff clean and sober. And there's something about that, man. It's just it's a true blessing, and I'm so excited about being in an association like this.
Yeah, we it's funny because like that was something I always wanted to do. Was like I was, when I my best friend back in Phoenix, like we bought our bikes together, this that we rode all the time together, and it was like, man, let's start a recovery motorcycle group. Of course, that never happened, but like I mentioned to you, I hear like we started a group out here. It's not recovery based, but we're just a small. We got like 50 something people in the group, and
correct, and like we don't have people riding with us that are addicts or anything, but yeah, it's
yeah, but like we are heavily involved in the motorcycle community, and we ride all the time, man. So you guys come through New York, let me know.
Definitely, and actually we have some chapters out in the New York area.
I think I remember you were telling me. I remember that. Yeah, so for the people that don't know, where can they follow you guys at? Where can they support? Where can they get merch? So on and so forth.
I have they could get a hold of me directly. They can inbox me. I keep a lot of the merch at the house. I do have a website as well, through like Spring Tea, which I can get them the link. They can follow me at Jonny Weirich. I have a professional page. That's my digital creator page. They can also go to Chicago Hope Dealers, which is a private recovery group. We also have a live page, which is Chicago Hope Dealers Live. And then we're also on Instagram, Chicago_Hope_Dealers. And the last thing I wanted to mention is, since we've had Chicago Hope Dealers in the last 6 years, we've had 8 other individuals around the country and in Canada reach out to us and be like, hey, we want to start a Hope Dealers, but in our area, can we do that? And they didn't have to call me and ask permission. I mean, they could do whatever they want, right? But the respect feature in there was like, hey, we want to do it like kind of based off of like how you guys are doing it. And like, so I got to sit down and talk to these people before they actually created it. So they kind of had like a basis on what to do with it. And it's worked out great. So now we have like I said, like 8 different chapters
Yeah.
of Chicago Hope Dealers all over the country and in Canada. And it's a pretty cool thing that and they're killing it. They're all killing
Yeah.
it. They're doing the exact same thing that we're doing, and it's truly
Yeah.
a blessing. Yeah.
No, it's cool. That's really, really awesome that, that they're able to do that. Like that was like the same for us, when we reached out to, Ma Van from Hope on Deck,
Hmm.
like we could have easily went out and just did our own thing, in our own
Hmm.
area, but we sat on a call with her, we kind of broke things down, and we were like, we want to be like an official branch of Hope on Deck, instead
Hmm.
of just going and doing our own thing. And because she was telling me, she goes, there's people that have reached out to us, and they're doing the same thing, but they don't call it Hope on Deck. She's like, but we want to eventually branch out into like having like the official nonprofit in the different locations and stuff. So, we gave her that respect to reach out to her to tell her, like, listen, we want to be like an extension of that. And here we are now. We're gonna go to Kensington. We're gonna do some outreach with them, and then we're gonna hopefully by this summer we can have our setup here in New York, in Western New York, branched off from Hope on Deck.
I think the nice
Dude,
part, they're only like a 6 hour drive from us too. So
Yeah,
for us to go down there and for her and her people to come up here would
yeah,
be, really easy. So not just having like our own portion of it, like involving ourselves down there and them involving, themselves up here is going to be really easy
yep,
and convenient for us to do.
definitely. And I'm so sorry to hear about Earl, man.
mm.
I've known Earl was on Chicago Hope Dealers a few years ago, and
I saw that.
you
I saw
know,
the interview.
yeah, definitely. And like, dude, I supported him to 100%. Like, I was always there, like the whole entire time, and then he just fell off, dude. He just like left Facebook, fell off. I figured that he probably went back out there. I know his mom, Van, was following us and around us for a little while. But then, like, I really didn't see anything from her either. So then I was like, what's going on? So if you talk to her next, just tell her that my condolences,
Yeah,
and I'm super stoked that she's still carrying the purpose and carrying the
yeah.
legacy on. So,
Yeah, she is. There's Earl touched a lot
hmm.
of people, and especially when he was making his comeback the second, coming back this time around. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, 2 weeks. He was supposed to be on. Him and Ma Van were supposed to be on the podcast. 2 weeks, before he passed away, and so it was like one of those things where they were supposed to come on, and then of course I wake up to find out that he unfortunately passed, and I gave Ma some time to, process. And I said, you know what, reach out when you're ready. And she reached out and said, hey, I'm ready to come on. I'm ready to talk and share the story and whatnot. So she's continuing the legacy that was built. And, um, like I said, man, and that just, and his situation just goes to show it doesn't matter how long you have clean. It doesn't matter
No.
how associated you are in the recovery community. It doesn't matter nothing. You know,
Yep.
you you just fall one time, and
Yep.
that could be it. It doesn't
Yep.
matter how successful, how many followers you got, this, that, and the third, how many nonprofits you have, nothing.
Yeah.
If you fall, you're done.
Yeah, that comes down to we always say this: recovery is rented and rent is due every single day.
Every day. Absolutely
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, we gonna wrap it up. Thanks, brother, for coming on for the last hour. Just talking with us. I know
No problem.
I was grateful that we were able to lock it in and actually get it done. So,
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can do some stuff together in the future. That we're
definitely.
not that we ain't that far from Chicago too. I mean, we might be 8 or 9 hours, 10 or something like that, but we definitely, maybe we could do some collabs or something. Figure something out.
You guys have to come out to some recovery events. There's a ton
Definitely.
of them coming up this summer.
Yeah.
I'll start sending you flyers. Come on out. Come hang out. And if you
I know
guys like, let me.
we're gonna be at the one in Warsaw, Indiana. Get sober, Get Sober, Stay Sober.
Yeah.
We missed that one last year because I had to
Yep.
work, but we're gonna go. We're gonna be there this year. But anything you guys got, let me know.
Ride with us too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We're gonna plan a ride out. So when we do that, we're gonna plan a weekend trip with our group to go out to these recovery events this summer.
Awesome.
So whatever
That's
you
what's
got,
up.
let us know, and we would gladly figure out, to get out there.
We have an awesome event coming up. It's at the end of April. It's on the Gulf of Mexico in Mississippi. I'll send you the flyers if you want to
Yeah,
come down for that. It's on the beach, so it's called
really.
Outreach on the beach, and I would definitely wouldn't miss that, especially since you're a writer. It's
Yeah.
going to be like 85 degrees down there at the end of April, and it's going to be
Jeez,
beautiful on the beach, bro.
that'd be sick. That would be awesome. Definitely send me the info for it.
I will definitely. You guys, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you. Uh, Tell your other co-host I said what's up.
Yeah,
And
definitely. I'll let Swag know. I'll tell him Johnny said
yeah,
what's up.
Swag. Yeah, definitely. Tell him I said what's up, man. Sorry you couldn't be here. I'm looking forward to seeing him soon, and we'll be in touch. And then I'll touch base with you here after this weekend. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Again, everybody go follow Johnny and Chicago Hope Dealers. Go show them some love. They're doing some great stuff. And that's going to wrap up the episode. If you've enjoyed today's conversation and it's inspired you and you want to listen to us some more, make sure to follow us, subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't hesitate to leave a like and a comment. Every interaction helps us reach more people. And if you know someone that can use a little hope and positivity, share the podcast with them. And I always like to end it with this note that no matter what life throws your way, there's always a reason to hold on to hope. And until next time, we signing off.